Firstly, I would like to know that India already has a very crowded fashion first and utility first handbag industry. Brands are, cluttering the market. So, what kind of gap do you think is does still exist that Earth can fulfill in India?
So, it's like this that, I'd also start with that handbags is a fully penetrated category, like you said, right? Every woman, irrespective of the strata, owns a bag, right? But if you look at India as a landscape, and if you look at the aspiration and where women today is, and in that context, first I'll take only the urban women, right? Because we all operate in urban as a society, especially with brands like Earth. And if you look at that landscape, and if you look at the fashion penetration that we have in India today, because people are traveling, there's so much consumption of social media. Globe as a whole, if you look at it's seamless now, right? So if you just look at 10 years before, and I'll come to the point that you're saying, if you look at 10 years before, how Indians consumed fashion and grooming and styling is very different from how we are consuming today, because there is that much more exposure. And when there is exposure, there is more consumption, especially in categories which are not essential categories, right? Which is fashion first, and handbags very much sit there. And if you look at India as a landscape, for you to get what I call a beautifully designed bag, well, maybe there are international brands, there are many other brands that give, but most of it is commoditized today. In most accessible price points, it is more commoditized today, right? There are no brands. However, bags as a category is an affinity category for women. It's a huge intent buying. Like women look forward to buying a bag, and it consumes that much more emotion from women. And there are no brands. It is a branded category, and look across the globe. Even if you forget the mature markets like maybe middle European, American, many other markets also, there are a lot of domestic players and there are global players. But if you look at India as a landscape, there are very few domestic players. What it does is it gives you accessible price point, and it gives you styling which is very in tune with what the generation is picking up with. So I would say the white space for this category exists. While there are a lot of players, but there is no dominant player, right? And with this much penetration, there is room and space for many brands to be there. And if you look at Earth's positioning, which is its style and organizing and accessible price points, and eventually, because Titan is a retail organization, we'll build accessibility, right, with a lot many more retail outlets, which also does not exist in this category. As an amalgamation, we feel that there is market for us to take, and there are women looking for a bag at that price point that is easily accessible to them, and it enhances both their style and their everyday organizing needs. I'm just adding one more point to it, is that if you look at handbags, and I'll not name brands because not my place to name brands, right? There are brands that are based just on vanity. There are a lot of brands today that are based on functionality, but there are very few brands that are in a cross section of certainly giving you the best looking bag, but in a way that it makes your everyday journey joyful. And I think that fulfillment Earth does. I often say this, that the category is such that if you are not moving A to B, you don't need a bag. But if you move anywhere from A to B, you need a bag, right? And that is when I say it's the joyful journey partner. Because we don't define journey as I'm going on a trip. I'm going from here to meet a friend. I'm going from here to the mall. I'm going from here for a brunch. I'm going from here to office. Is a journey that the woman is going to take. And if I understand you and I understand your journey, I provide for better styling that makes your day beautiful, right? And I think that insight, Earth is able to capture beautifully. And if you look at a design, how we retail, what we talk, sort of captures that imagination, which I think it's unique in its own way.
Got it. So, like, partly you have already answered it, but I want to know what kind of consumer response have you got from from early years?
So, we have something like a net promoter score that we garner at our stores, right? While it is for store service and experience, but for a brand like ours, I think when people walk into an Earth store and look at what we are offering, how we are offering, and what, it's really delightful. So our score is somewhere above 80% consistently from day one, in fact above 90%, consistently from the time we opened our first store. So I think that is, it reflects in a way what we are able to give them at our stores, which is, when they feel us, when they feel the product, when they feel and when they look at the price tag, they're shocked. Everybody walks in thinking, oh, it's going to be a 25-30 grand bag. But when they look at the price point, and they're easy accessible price points, there is so much joy. I think we can only be thankful for both joy, appreciation, and love that women have already shown us in our very short journey.
Uh, so you have spoken about women, of course. So do you have like what is the target audience base completely? Are men also a part of it, or it's just women specific? Any plans also for?
We get asked this a lot. But we've made the choice that Earth is a women first brand right now. All solutions that we provide for are for women, because when in our initial stages we felt that it is a very high affinity category for women. Women see it as extension of their style, their needs, and many other things, and hence we chose it to be a women first brand.
So coming to marketing a bit, what kind of like, firstly, I want to know how much of the total revenue is allocated to marketing. And with that, if you can give us a light on the kind of communication you look forward to, the mediums that you're heavy on, digital or traditional, if performance marketing is a part of it.
So, we started a journey with the all channels, which is retail. Now we have retail, and we are soon, expanding retail many folds, which is exclusive brand outlets for Earth. And we have earth.in, which is an online, our website, which is also commerce enabled. And we retail from Mintra as an exclusive online partner. So, performance marketing, certainly, yes, we do. But, the nascency of the brand that we are in, we are committed to two things. One is building awareness, bringing to people what the brand stands for. And hence, we don't measure it as a percentage to business right now, because, we are, especially with Earth, is just about 3 years. We're just about expanding the footprint. So the proportions will not sit. However, we are omni-channel present. We do digital. Digital is a larger part of our share. When I say digital, I'm saying brand digital, which is, to be able to communicate two ways on digital platforms with our consumers. Our ATL, which is hardcore print and outdoor, is very less, because our city population or city spread right now is only expanding, right? However, in the last 6 months, our top two cities by our exclusive brand retail footprint, which is Delhi and Bombay, we have also done substantial for those cities in outdoor and print advertising. Otherwise, we are a digital first brand right now, also driven by where our footprint right now is, right? It's online, and it's with departmental stores, which is lifestyle and shoppers stop. And we have about 17 exclusive brand outlets as on date. So that's really our footprint right now, and it's right now in maybe about our exclusive brand outlets are in the top 5 cities. However, because of the departmental stores and because of e-commerce, we'll be operating on much larger city footprint. So, digital also reaches these days far effective And I've always felt that digital gives you a leeway to be a two-way communicating media. It's more conducive to new age brands, and you can beautifully express yourself, especially for someone like Earth. We believe we are about journeys, we are about motion, we are about effortless conversations. They become very beautiful in digital, so it very meaningfully comes together, though digital is also a new age media and everybody is on digital, but it also lets the brand express beautifully.
So, you spoke about Delhi and Bombay, correct? I think
That is
the
for
sales have.
exclusive brand outlets.
Okay, okay. But I just want to know, the metro cities are, if you keep them aside, do you see product demand in tier two cities, tier three cities as well?
Yes, of course. So if you look at a Mintra spread and if you look at Earth.in, we have all pin codes that come in. We've already signed stores in, say, Bhopal. We are looking for place in many other, they're not tier one, but they're not tier three either. We call them like state capitals. Very healthy, demands. And, to me, it all links back to what we said. Access to fashion and access to lifestyle is so much higher. And why would it differentiate between cities? Because, we are equally aspiring young, middle aged men, women in all cities. So to me, I think that barrier is far gone. The proportions may be slow because the consumption patterns might be different, but I see that trend only in tier 3. I think tier 2 is very well populated now.
So if you can talk about the recent campaigns of Earth and how they have performed, like a basic light on what were the new campaigns or anything else that you currently have in mind and we are going to see it in a few months.
Yeah. So, our product is, when we talk about Earth product, we always say that, design has its own language. It's deliberate, it's thoughtful, and it can be felt, right? And I think that is what Earth has always maintained, that we are beautifully crafted for the journeys of women. And I think because we are a very new brand, right? We've tried to express that same philosophy through different modes and medias, with the recent one being always a little ready. So our campaign right now is always a little ready, which is an extension of the conversations that we have built before. We spoke about beautiful ordinary. Our other expression today is always a little ready, because Earth is about, what I spoke to. It is about your everyday journeys and making your everyday journeys beautiful. So if you look at a campaign, it's got this very effortless, everyday small moments, in which Earth becomes your companion and allows you to have that joyful moment. And somewhere when, as a brand, we had started the journey on Earth and we had looked at handbags. My favorite example is, you know at the outer, a bag is a bag. Yes, it's a well designed bag, right? But at the inner, the bag really is who you are. So, if I look at Entourage's bag and I look at Kanwalpreet's bag, our bags can be nice and we can share what is the beauty of the bag and how well crafted it is. But when we look inside, it will truly be who you are and who I am. Because, all the things that we carry and all the things that represent us is inside the bag. And I think in our campaigns we sort of try to bring that alive, that the inside is for you to use and the inside for you to access and to create your own joyful space, right? And I think that's what is depicted in a campaign. If you look at from beginning, we may have different expressions, we may have different bag types, we may have different moments, but the thread has always been this. And I love the expression that we've landed this time, which is always a little ready. And when you look at it, you will realize that it is a very effortless take on how every moment can be beautiful and how Earth can be a partner in it. I
I
don't
was
know if
going to ask you about any favorite ones of yours that you would like to mention. So
That is very difficult to say. I think all of them are beautiful because our journey has been very short. And, we are a very passionate team. And we do believe that bags do bring a lot of joy to women. So I think each piece is very beautifully crafted.
So right now, if you talk about
And also,
consumer,
I'll just add, see, they're not independent pieces. I think it's the same journey. We've tried to show many manifestations of it. So, in that sense, we are still living with one thought, which is to portray the beautiful journeys and how Earth can be your companion. So we've not explored that enough. So every time we release a new piece, we are able to explore it a little bit more deeper. And hence, I don't have a favorite because we are still exploring many facets of it.
do you guys have a like in-house team that works on the campaign, or is there a creative agency
So,
you refer?
of course, the idea generation happens here, but we have a creative partner. They've been with us through our journey. They're based in Delhi, Kondolkar Studio, and they are our creative partners.
So this is a production house, if you
No,
would
they
say.
are a creative agency, but they are a boutique creative agency. But the beauty is they understand fashion as a landscape very beautifully, and they understand emotion and fashion together. Fashion can also be very cold, but fashion can also be very emotional. They understand emotion and fashion very well, and I think that is why we love them as much as we love our campaigns.
Do you recall any kind of an anecdote that was surprising to you? Any store stories that you have heard, something unique or that surprised you?
So there was our first store in Palladian opened a little after. So we used to retail through lifestyle shoppers and we used to retail online, but we didn't have exclusive brand outlets. And there were two women walking outside, and it has a glass facade, right? And we were just about opening that store that time. And I could hear her from inside. I was just standing near the door, and she told me, that's IRTH. They retail online, but I didn't know their store exists. And then they walked in. And when they walked in, the first thing they asked was, Aapke paas organizer hai, bag ka organizer? And we were like, yes, we have a range, and why don't you come in? And then she asked us, we didn't know that you are here. So we said, no, this is the first store that we are opening up. So, even before we opened our first retail outlet, we do detachable organizers, and that's a very unique product. It is a product, I don't know if you've seen, it is a detachable organizer which can go into any bag of yours. So it has got compartments, and maybe I can send you a picture. You stuff it with whatever. So you don't have to, if you change bag, you don't have to take everything and dump it onto the other bag. You just take this organizer and put it in the next bag. So she had seen it. And she came in and she said, आपके पास organizer है क्या? वो जो, online में I saw on your website. We showed her and she was delighted by that product. She just couldn't believe something like this as a solution provider existed with us. And she bought two. One for her, one for her sister. Then she called her mother and she asked her, आपको ये चाहिए क्या? मैं photo भेजती हूँ. Then, her mother maybe could not understand much that time. She bought two from us. I'm assuming they may have come later and bought many. I think that stays with me because it was our first store, and we had done online and we knew that we were very popular, but we didn't know how a good product category can stay with people. Recently also I went to Pune and there was a guy who came in and he said, "Do you have organizer? मुझे red color के दो चाहिए." And I was like, he also knows my recent color. So for a unique product, people build recall, and for a new brand that becomes like an entry point, right? And then people begin to explore your brand and say, oh, there are so many beautiful things. I think that happened very beautifully for Earth, something that we are very proud of, and something that gives us a lot of joy.
What are the key priorities for Earth right now? Any milestones that you have set for the current financial year in terms of revenue growth and market expansion?
So I think it would be this, what I said, which is to rapidly expand the yellow doors for more and more people to see us. and chase, in the next 2 years, chase 60 plus awareness in the next 2 years, because that together, will give more and more women the opportunity to try us, right? And to own at least one Earth bag, so that we build that base for us. So I think that is something that we look forward to.
And any revenue growth percentage that you can share that you have in mind?
Nidhi has told me this is silent period. I will not say anything. But leave that aside. I think too early in our journey to compare growth rates. I think we should chase, um, you know, I can put like a statement saying in the next 2 years, I'd love most urban women to own at least one Earth bag, and very fondly flaunt it, right? I mean, I can look at that also as an objective. It need not necessarily be a revenue objective. So I think right now it is about reaching more women, building great affinity, and I think more importantly, bringing this dream of bringing a joyful brand to life in the market, where a beautiful design can be owned by many women. I think that is like our ultimate goal to have. And it is also a mojo that Titan has. We are known for bringing the most beautiful design to market at most accessible price points. So I think that's something that we'd love to attain even for Earth.